Hello and welcome back to Seagulls Social, Season 2, Episode 41.
1 hour later.
Yeah,
1 hour later.
Fucking hell.
Literally
We are doing the end of season special, and because it's so special, we've brought in the special guest, Jack Albion. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
With his second laptop.
Pretty stressful experience getting my laptop to work, which has like a fan of death and didn't want a power adapter, and it's good. I'm ready to punch it. Yeah. Updating Chrome.
And if you're watching this, then somehow we managed to survive, and this hasn't somehow gone wrong. So get in there. Yeah. Ryan, how you doing, mate?
My laptop's also trying to take off. So I'm hitting myself. So it's just going so well. But no, I'm all right, mate. I'm good. Yes.
Fabrizio Ryan Romano is back, isn't he? You're back.
Yeah, man. I've got impeccable sauces once again all season long. All off season.
Heinz mayo, chili jam sauce.
Yeah, I actually bought Nando's for this one, so hopefully.
Oh mate, I've got that downstairs in the fridge. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, so we've got a new sauce, and hopefully it's nice and spicy for this season, mate.
Nice.
Fantastic. And Maz, how are you? How was the wedding you went to? It looked lovely.
Yeah, it was good, mate. Yeah, really good. Caught a bit of the sun. It was a bit too hot, if anything. You know when you're on holiday. Might be too hot. But no, it was lovely. It was lovely. I feel sorry.
Not hotter than your mates in the black suits though, because everyone was wearing lovely white suits and stuff, light colours.
Yeah, and unfortunately they drew the short straw and had to all wear tuxedos. They looked very good, but at the same time they must have been absolutely sweltering. But yeah, all in all, beautiful little wedding, and it was good fun.
Nice,
brilliant. And so, as I said, this is the end of season special. What we will be doing is we'll be going through some of our players' awards. So I think Jesse Beard named some awards that we wanted to give out, so we've done them. So these boys have filled that all out. We don't know what we've picked yet, and then we're also doing a keep, loan, sell for all the players. That will be surprised if Maz and Jack make it that far, because they might have to go back to work. Otherwise, if we're all doing that, that's brilliant. Otherwise, it'll just be me and Ryan. Yeah, it's a long list, so we'll have to whisk through them. Otherwise, we'll be here for years. But you asked for it, so we're going to do it. We do it for you. But first of all, we're going to quickly ask Maz and Jack, because they haven't been on for a bit. Maz, in 60 seconds, sum up the season, please. And I'm putting you on the spot, but I kind of mentioned it before. Go for it.
60 seconds. All right. Well, look, it was ultimately a successful season, I think, because our highest ever finish in the Premier League, our highest ever points tally in the Premier League, I believe. What else? What other records did we break? Every
record.
Pretty much every Premier League record we've broken. So you can't look back and say that was not a successful season. Obviously we had that. What was it? 2 months without a win from September through February, where we didn't win. Obviously,
games or something.
Either side of that, and the last 6 games of the season have been brilliant. We had some incredible wins: Man United, Spurs, Arsenal. Just to name a few. So I think to summarise. A really successful season. Obviously, it had its highs and it had its lows, but overall, when you look back on it, it was a great season to be a Brighton fan, I think.
Fantastic, well said, mate. And I didn't even time that, but Jack, can you better him? Can you do that in 60 seconds?
Yeah, it starts at 4:29. Let's go. So I was just thinking, it's been an amazing season. We've had some lows where I thought we were getting relegated to the points where I thought we were getting Europe again. But it's just been fantastic the way the team has played. It's been attacking football. It's our highest ever goals scored in the Premier League season, highest ever points. So it's been fantastic, really. Some of the wins in the last few months have just been like the cherry on top, like Wolves, United, and West Ham being those. It's just an amazing time to be a Brighton fan, really. And I think at a West Ham game, it all came back to you it's 25 years since we were at Hereford. So 25 years to be ninth in the Premier League, it's quite amazing to go from that to top 10.
Yeah.
It's quite something. So, it's an amazing season. Well, despite all my moaning halfway through, it's been all right in the end.
Same here.
Yeah. The odds of that must have been insane for us going from that space of time, going from the bottoms of the League 2 to now being
put a bet on
the Prem. Yeah. It's mad. But speaking of odds, I was going to say quickly before I forget, Nathan Cutler, the fancy Premier League winner for Seagulls Social League. Well done, mate. Let's all clap him. He DM'd us asking what his prize was, and I was like, I think I was just like, just pride, mate. And it's fair enough.
His prize is getting us a sponsor so that we can buy his stuff, mate. That's all.
Exactly. I think we have 280 people in that league, though, so fair play to him for being all them lot. He must have won so many leagues. He had like
I'll make a
5,000
personal
points, something like
appearance
that.
of his choice. I'll appear.
Yeah. We'll send you around to his house. I think he lives in Leicester actually, so that'll be quite long.
Oh, okay, that's not
You'll probably be going to some sort of pre-season game there anyway. And then Ryan, onto you because I know we're tight for time already. Ryan, so we've had some rumours, we've had some links already. One being Bissouma off to Monaco, Spurs, Villa, Newcastle, you name it. And we've also got Cucurella potentially going to Chelsea now this morning. Obviously, massive links with City and what he said in the press. Ryan, what's going on, mate?
Mate, the thing is with Bissouma is going to be like, we're going to have agent talk galore, aren't we? I can already sense it that we're going to have Bissouma linked with Man United, Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Tottenham, Monaco, PSG, you name it. He's going to be linked to them. So this summer's just about hopefully trying to get the best possible price for him, because I do expect he'll probably go. I reckon it's about 75% likely he'll go. On the off chance he does sign a new deal, I can't see it realistically. But yes, I think Bissouma will head where he goes. I don't know. I don't think he's got any decisions or anything. I haven't seen anything to suggest that. But yeah, I think he will end up at a big club somewhere around the country or around the globe, even because, as I say, Monaco has been linked now. Cucurella
back in the Prem.
Yeah, it would be nice to not see him play against us, to be fair. And Cucurella, again, another player, so much quality, so much talent. But I think, we've got to be looking at about 50, 60 million. He's a versatile, young left back. He's very hard to cover again. Finding a replacement for him is going to be very, very difficult. And considering he's still got 4 years left on his contract, I don't think he's going to exactly go for cheap. So, obviously Manchester City, now Chelsea are linked with him. The big clubs are going to be wanting him. And I think it's been quite well documented that Tuchel and Pep Guardiola are big fans of him. So, yeah, I expect he'll probably end up at Man City. And I reckon it'll be for about 50 mil, because I think Zinchenko will be going out of Man City.
Also, as well, on Cucurella, wasn't that video that was from his Barcelona days, wasn't it?
No,
so I think
it was actually filmed after the Catalonia game he played against Jamaica. And yeah, I think his words got twisted a bit. From apparently one of the translations was him just saying you're linked with moves to City, and Cucurella saying what most of us would feel anyway, saying you can't really turn down big moves like that.
Exactly.
Obviously, he's probably he was honest, but fair play to him. Some players would probably say, the classic, I'm really happy where I am and I can't really comment.
Yeah, I'd rather they just be honest, to be honest.
Guardiola's a Catalonia and Barcelona legend, so why would he not want to move there?
Exactly.
I don't think there's
just
anything
from
wrong.
me as well.
Oh, sorry.
Go on, Jack.
I was going to say, I don't think there's anything wrong with what he said. Like, he was cornered by a journalist, and he just sort of said, like, if he did say, the journalist did say, if they agree a price, will you say no? And it was like, well, no, I probably wouldn't. At the end of the day, they're not Brighton fans at the end of the day, all the players. I mean, if it was my choice, I'd never leave, but I'm not a footballer. I'm gone tomorrow,
mate. I'm absolutely gone tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm
50 million.
I'm a humble player, and I wouldn't leave. But at the end of the day, Cucurella, he doesn't have to think like that, and he's not Lewis Dunk. He's Mark Cucurella. Very different, mindset. I expect.
But Jack, how much of a shame would it be if he did leave after just one season?
Oh, massively gutted. But he is that good, and it wouldn't surprise me if he, someone does pay the price of 60, 70 million for him. Because he is that good. Like, I don't think there's been a game where he's dropped below a 7 in any game rating I've made this season. And it's consistently 7 and above. So, yeah, for me, if he plays at City or Chelsea, it's fully deserved.
Cool. And they're the outs. Maz, I'll quickly come to you, because we are linked with, is it Levi Colwill from Chelsea, who's on loan at Huddersfield?
Yeah.
And Maz, did you see him play?
Yeah, I was about to say, I watched him play against in the semi-final, second leg. And he looked good. I'm not going to lie, I was more impressed with O'Brien in the centre midfield for Huddersfield. But
he was quite good in that game.
Yeah, mate, O'Brien was brilliant. However, he looks good. At 19 years of age, I think he's played, 30 games? And I chipped him with a couple of goals as well. So, to do it at that age, especially in the Championship, which is, a very physical, demanding league. You don't have it easy in the Championship for sure. And I think it's a great development league, with all the greatest respect in terms of for younger players, as we saw with Jed Spence at Nottingham Forest, and a few other notable names as well.
Brennan Johnson as well.
Brennan Johnson at Nottingham. So actually, it's going to be it could be potentially, if we do go for him and get him, it could be a great signing. My only sort of not concerned, but my only question would be is like, why are we not playing Roberts? Like we've got young centre halves already. Van Heck, even Ostergaard out on loan. Like my only question would be is, do we need another young centre half?
Maybe he's just not as good as this guy. I mean, to be honest, I haven't really watched much of him play, but I mean, the way I look at it is, if there's a Chelsea Academy player, the Chelsea Academy is full of absolute diamonds. And, you know, we saw what happened with Tarek, unfortunately got injured. Livramento at Southampton's done really well, but unfortunately got injured as well. Tamori, Reece James, Tammy Abraham, Mason Mount. They generate so much talent in that. You know, and Gay as well. Guay, however you say his name for Palace, to be fair, has been unbelievable. They create so much talent in that academy. You know, I expect he'd probably come in and be one of our best centre backs, because that just seems to be how it works when we sign players.
Is he left footed as well?
Chelsea. Yeah, he's left sided. Well, I don't know if he's left footed. I know he's left sided, isn't he? Yeah. I'll look that up though.
And then Ryan, another transfer rumour. Do you want to introduce us to Cheek? Is it Cheek Decore?
Cheik Decore, yeah. I don't know. I don't know if that'll actually happen. I don't know what the thing is. The Mirror put it on, didn't they? That we were interested in, but I think it's alongside sort of Arsenal and all them other clubs. And I think Palace were actually like pretty close to sort of agreeing a fee with them. Apparently, he's meant to be a very good player. I haven't really seen him play, but from what I've looked at,
international with Basuma.
Yeah, another Mali international. From what I've looked at, he's only 22 years old, I believe. Looks very versatile, looks very good, and it's a sort of midfielder that I expect us to go for these days. I mean, Graham Potter seems to love his versatile midfielders. We've got them in literally abundance. So yeah, I'd take him, but I'd more than take him. I'd love him to come. I think it probably depends on whether Basuma goes. If Basuma goes, I expect we'll probably go in for him. I don't know how much he would cost mine, but obviously if he's being linked with the likes of Arsenal, and I think Mikel Arteta's a big fan of him, and Patrick Vieira the same. There's some stiff competition, because you know, you can see why these centre midfielders want to go to Palace and Arsenal with Arteta and Vieira in charge of them clubs.
Yeah, that's true. And we'll probably talk about Basuma and him potentially going and his replacements and that sort of stuff when we get onto the keep buy sell bit. So, are we ready to move on to the awards? Are we all ready?
Yeah,
do we have our choices in front of us?
Yeah.
So we're going to go through some. I think
just quickly. Sorry, just suggestion, just to make it fair, because what I think will happen is a lot of us will have the same kind of answers potentially. So should we do it like, so each category, should we start with a different person? So like, start with you for the first one, then go on to Ryan for the second one, etc.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah,
good shout.
All right, cool.
All right. So we've got Player of the Season awards, the Young Player of the Season, Goal of the Season, Save of the Season, Player of the Season, and Team Performance of the Season. And you know what, Jack, we'll start with you. Who is your player of the season? Well,
I'm sure, I think I'm going to guess here that everybody has picked the same player. Because who I've said here, exactly. Nobody comes close to how good he's been this year. At left back, even in our rough period, he still looked fantastic. I just think he's been fantastic. He's been an absolute joy to watch from start to finish. Even in my other awards, I think back to who was this, who is that. I just go, it's Marc Cucurella. For someone who came in on, from Getafe as our only real summer signing. I think there was some questions about whether we needed a new left back with Solly March playing in that position and doing pretty well in that position over the course of the season. So everybody was sort of like, do we need him? But, the first game away at Burnley, we had Gross playing at left back, which was that first half at Burnley was borderline chaos.
Everton at home was pain, wasn't it? Do you remember we played with no fullbacks at Everton? They absolutely took advantage of Damari Gray.
Oh, yeah. Damari Gray just ran through us like a knife through butter and continued to be their only away win of the season for Everton. I didn't know that.
But
he just came in and he just made us the better team that we really could have been. I just don't think anyone came close for me.
Maz, I can't remember if it was the beginning of the season. Was it you that saying we needed a left wing back, or was it you that saying we don't? Yeah,
no, I was saying we needed him.
Yeah, and me and Ryan were like, no, we need a striker more, but you actually said, no, we needed a left wing back more. So
thank you.
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah, ball knowledge. No, for me, it was a problem area, because even what Ryan said earlier about how difficult Cucurella will be to replace if he goes, and it's so true. Like, imagine, like before he signed, we really desperately needed a left back, and then if he was to leave, we also desperately need
back,
left back.
and we've
got,
got one of the best that's ever worn the shirt as well. It's not like we've just got a left back. Like to replace him's going to be so hard.
No, exactly, and that's why at the beginning of the season I was like, look, don't get me wrong. Obviously, a striker is key. Like that was always the sort of the obvious thing as a Brighton fan to see. However, for me, which was ultimately like just as important, not saying it was more important or less important, it was that left back position. Just because I felt like we've never really had an maybe from Wayne Bridge, maybe like even he, I would say Cucurella is much better than him, but we've never really had I never rated Gaetan Bong, and it's always been a bit of a problem area. But look at Jack,
Gaetan Bong, football genius.
But yeah, just to summarise, basically, I think the left back position has always been an area we needed to strengthen, and we did it, and it shows how important it was to have such a quality player at left back,
especially in Potter's system. For sure. Yeah, and Ron, I'm guessing you put Cucurella as well. We can probably whiz past this. Cucurella wins, hands down. Well played, mate.
I've sung his praises all season.
Otherwise, I'm going to
just an honourable mention. Just an honourable mention from me. Leandro Trossard has to get an honourable mention. Our top goal scorer, and I think he in some games he's brilliant. So
as well.
Yeah, honourable mention.
Yeah, Joel Veltman I wanted to shout out. I think a lot of people also got quite upset that Alex McAllister was in the conversation. They're saying he was nowhere near the top. I thought he's been brilliant all season.
If they don't get why McAllister's there, then they don't understand football. Simple as that.
Don't understand football.
Yeah.
Ryan, are we going to go to young player this season? And for those listening, this is under 23s. So, Ryan, who did you pick for your young player of the season?
Cucurella again. I mean, I don't know what they
really no way.
Yeah, because he's the player of the season, so he's got to be young player of the season. I don't know what other answer you want from him.
I would have spiced up with someone else.
Yeah, I went someone else.
Yeah. I wanted to go someone else, but then I knew if I did that, it'd be like, oh, you're Cucurella's your player of the season, so I could not be a young player.
No, so my rationale was different. Mine was like, because I picked Cucurella for the best player, I was like, well, I'm going to pick someone else for the young player because it's that was my rationale. But yeah,
so I've done it now.
I'm going to quickly say why I picked my guy. So I picked Moises Caicedo, and the reason why I picked him over
2 months
the real young but listen, the reason why I picked him over the real young player of the season, which was Jeremy Sarmiento, which maybe they included his under 23s appearances, but I was kind of thinking of the first team. Moises Caicedo made 3 more appearances than Jeremy Sarmiento and started more games than him. And I feel like when Moises came in, he improved the squad so much more than when Jeremy Sarmiento came off the bench. So for me, Moises Caicedo, even though it was just a short stint, absolutely smashed it. And the impact he had was unreal. Matt, you want to go yours?
Yeah.
Go for yours.
I went McAllister.
Yes,
he's 23.
Get in there.
Oh God, I thought he was over that. Oh,
McAllister's 23. Yeah. So I actually had Caicedo. So my notes actually say McAllister, but Caicedo would have been if played more games. Yeah. So that was my. I get what you're saying, Ben. I think for his last sort of 6 to 8 games where he played. Obviously, don't get me wrong, he was fantastic. Stand out in some games, brilliant. And I think next season he will definitely be our young player of the season for sure.
I'm going to change mine because for some reason McAllister I just thought he was.
McAllister, I think. As Jack said earlier, I think McAllister's been brilliant all season. He's scored 5 goals, I think, or assisted 5, or one of the 2. His numbers are starting to. I know it's not incredible numbers, but at least it's something to build on for next season. I think,
and more consistent. And Jack, you have the power to award Alexis this award, or make it really awkward.
So when you sent me a message this morning, I completely misunderstood it. When you said under 23s, I thought you meant solely from the under 23 squad. So I've done like pure, because I've watched quite a lot of under 23s Brighton football. I've been to away games. So I thought I'd give it like a spin,
this is actually quite nice.
So there were 2. Yeah, I thought I'd make it a bit different rather than picking someone from the first team. So for me, the 2 players which stood out for the 23s this season, the first one being, so I'm not going to include Evan Ferguson because I see him more as a first team player now, and he really didn't start to play that much. But one player I want to shout out is Andy Moran, who I watched play quite a lot. He is fantastic on the ball. A lot of the hype goes to Ferguson, a lot of the hype goes to Sarmiento, but Moran, just behind the striker, just pulls the strings so well. He's gross with pace. He's fantastic. I mean, let's not big him up too much because he's only 17, but he is really... he's a fantastic player. I think those who went to the Senior Cup final saw that he was really good. If any of the other 20 fans who were in the away end at Charlton under 18s with me saw him in that game, he was fantastic in that as well. And I just think he's got a really huge future ahead of him. And another quick shout out to Laurent Tolaj as well. Another player who, I mean, he might end up getting released in the summer, but he just seems to be like so strong on the ball, and his finishing is superb. Like, I saw him score 5 goals against Haywards Heath Town in the same game, and that was really good. As well, like the complete shithousery of
he's a monster and a shithouse, which is great.
Oh, at the Sussex Senior Cup final, running over to the Worthing fans. We're doing that, ripping his shirt off.
Yeah,
finally giving that competition the respect it needs. So those are the two I want to shout out for under 23s player of the season.
Yeah. He reminds me a bit like Mitrovic, a bit of a shithouse.
He is. Not strong.
Not quite good enough for the first team, but
no. And it's interesting because he did go out on loan at Cambridge, and I think played a total of about 7 minutes across the loan spell before being sent back. So,
shame.
But I've really rated him this season, so it'll be interesting to see what happens to him.
I'm glad you've done that and mentioned the 2 youngsters, and you actually thought it's under 23s, because they deserve a mention. And Andrew Moran, baller, and Tolaj,
absolute
baller
baller
well.
he is.
Alexis McAllister on votes, because I changed mine. Alexis, you've won Young Player of the Season, and that means a lot more than any other award you're ever going to get in your career. Yeah, so I'm glad. Maz, you are next, and it is the Goal of the Season award.
Ooh.
So many Mopay goals to pick from. I loved it when the Brighton Hove Albion account, they done like 5 goals to pick from. 4 of them were Mopay. So something like that, weren't they?
Brilliant.
So good. But Maz, go on.
Right. Okay. So I'm simply choosing this one because, it for me personally, it was Mopay, West Ham away. Obviously, last minute limbs. Me and Ben were obviously there together, so we're actually witnessing it firsthand, like the limbs, the atmosphere, to make it 1-1 in the 92nd minute, wherever it was. For me, it has to be Mopay, West Ham away, simply for the limbs and for the equaliser.
And we had 10 men at the time.
Yeah, we did.
Of course,
because Lallana hobbled off, didn't he?
Yeah, shock. It's not Lallana to get injured.
Also, shout out to the person in front who left about a minute before that happened. Wasn't he?
That's what they
literally
deserve.
walked out.
That's
when we
what
went
you
down to 10.
deserve.
Well, what's your goal of the season, man?
I've gone outside of the box, just because, I didn't want to.
Was the goal from outside of the box as well?
No, it wasn't. It was Alexis McAllister's first goal at Everton, not his second one. I thought the whole build-up play.
Is that the team goal?
Sensational. And the ball that Mopay played, a sort of knock-on header where he played it up, that was superb. And then McAllister finished it so well. And so early in the game, McAllister, I think it was one of his first goals this season. So, for that reason, he took it so well. For me, it is McAllister's first at Everton, just to be a little bit obscure.
And
there's so many to choose
really, from. Really cured everyone's New Year's hangover, didn't it? Just that on New Year's Day, seeing.
I was looking after a puppy that day, so I was watching it on a stream. It was like the first game that I missed all season. I was on my own looking after a puppy. It was great.
Was that the one where Welbeck flicked it, did a little back heel? Was that the one?
No, Welbeck didn't play that.
No.
That was.
That was Mwepu did a back heel. That was when he smacked it on the volley.
Smacked it in.
Leading on to that.
Yeah.
That is my goal of the season. McAllister's second. I just think it shows like perfectly how Potter ball is supposed to be played. God, that was an absolute cliche there. But it's the way that Dan Burn brings the ball forward, passes it off to the wing. I think it goes to possibly someone on the wing, whoever it may be.
Is it March or Cucurella, one of them?
It's March or Cucurella. And then he flicks it into the middle. Mwepu, little back heel, and then bang, back of the net. And I remember because I was at Everton, from previous experience, I decided to get a seat in the front row, which was entertaining. And to see that just go in right in front of us and to run straight over, it was a special goal. Considering I had been hungover from... it was actually on the 2nd, not New Year's Day.
Oh, it wasn't? Okay.
Yeah, but I was hungover from watching Worthing Horsham the previous day.
As you do.
And I continued to drink through it, so I was very drunk. And I remember that going in and just going absolutely mental.
That must have been limbs.
That was limbs. So, that's my goal this season.
I have the power to award this luckily for you, Maz, I've also given it to Mope, the overhead kick, just simply because it's an overhead kick. Obviously, the chipping over Gaeta against Palace, that deserves a mention because those were unbelievable limbs.
Wepu against Liverpool, Trossard against Liverpool.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Trossard against Brentford.
If only Mope done that overhead kick against Palace, or would you have preferred the chip with all the why'd you let it bounce memes? I suppose that's
the why'd you let it bounce?
Yeah, that was.
Mate, this is actually an accolade as to how good we've been this season finishing.
Mope bicycle kick against West Ham wins goal of the season.
This is how good. This is how good we've actually been this season. The fact we've got so many goals of the seasons to choose from. Like we all had different ones, apart from Ben and Maz. But me and Jack had different ones. We could name so many others as well. I mean, like as you're saying, Wepu against Arsenal, another one. There's so many good ones.
Gross against United,
against Tottenham. Gross against United. You know, there's too many. Gross even against West Ham as well. Was a great strike. So there's so many great goals this year.
I want to give a shout out to my second one though, which was Moepe against Arsenal. Thought that was also superb, like technical.
And what a away day! That was my away day of the year. My away day.
Was it?
Yeah, I reckon. What a game.
Nice. So we're going from the front of the pitch, we're going to the back of the pitch, and we are talking about Robert Sanchez. Save of the season. Who wants to go first? Do you want, have you got your save of the season?
Wait, who's going first? Me.
Oh yeah, you go first. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow, okay. Well, I obviously there's been quite a few, but they sort of slipped my mind. So I just had Lewis Dunk against Newcastle. That's good. The vibes. For the vibes. No, but yeah, I actually couldn't really pick one out. So mine was a bit more
that
of a joke
one catch.
Yeah.
Do you know what's interesting about Lewis Dunk against Newcastle? Here's a fun stat for you. The moment Lewis Dunk went in goal, Newcastle didn't have a shot on goal.
Really? I'm scared of him, mate.
So
I feel like I should remember this
he had a
game
few
so much
catches
more than I
from
do.
corners, but it was sort of
Wasn't
like, there's no goalkeeper in the goal, so they decide to not make a single shot.
God.
Yeah, I remember John Joe Shelby had that free kick to easily test him, but decided to cross it in instead.
Yeah, exactly.
Or, cleared away.
Yeah, I remember that actually. Yeah,
I think that's the most I've screamed at a game as well this season. I literally thought I was going to blow up just shouting "get back" at the top of my voice. I'm sure they must have heard me on the pitch.
What's your save of the season, mate, Jack?
So sorry, I'll stop waffling about very random games. So my save of the season is quite hard to think about it because it's it's a bit of a weird one when you think save of the season. But I think I'm gonna go for Robert Sanchez when he made a save against Nketiah at Arsenal away in the last minute. He was a little bit off his line. It was a great header, and he's just reached into midair and just absolutely pushed it away and saved us. Really, I think that was fantastic. Really, that was a fantastic save, technique and everything. So that's mine.
Ryan, what about you?
I've got two. And I can't decide. I can't remember. I'll do this one first, just because I can't remember who it was against, and I couldn't find it for love of the money. I was looking through. It was a free kick, and he saved it, and he had no right to save it, and I can't remember who it was against. It was so far.
Rafinha's one.
Yeah. Was it Rafinha? It was quite recent. Yeah, it must have been that one.
Yeah.
And it was so into the corner. I have absolutely no idea how he saved it.
Yeah, that's the one I picked because that was an outrageous save.
I think that was my number one.
With his other hand,
I have no idea how he got it.
Yeah.
And my other one I just had just because in case I couldn't remember that one was against Man United. I think it was called offside, but where he was so low down to his right. He sort of palmed it away. I think it was Maguire with a header or something. I think they did go on to score from the resulting thing that was offside. But that was a fantastic save. Again, how he got down there at 6'6" is ridiculous.
But to save the argument, Ryan, are you going to pick the Rafinha one?
Yeah, to save the argument, definitely Rafinha. Rafinha.
Good, because I picked the Rafinha one as well.
And that was my one anyway.
We remembered a lot of the ones towards the end of the season. If you remembered anything at the beginning of the season, let us know that we've forgotten about. But unfortunately,
there'll be a lot of recency
so easy to forget.
Yeah,
so easy to forget.
That was the toughest one. That was the last one I did because it was just so tough to remember.
I think all the saves I can remember and probably get noticed is the big outstretched arm ones like Arsenal and Rafinha's one and the one against United. But I think one thing over the whole of the season I'd shout out Robert Sanchez for is he's very good at if you've got a one-on-one, getting down low and blocking it out. Because I can think of I was thinking when you mentioned beginning of the season, I was thinking at Burnley away, and there was a point where I think Gross just gave the ball to one of their players, and they're running through on goal, and the way he got so low down and just blocked it and cleared it. So that's another shout out for the beginning of the season off the top of my head. I'm surprised I remember anything from that game, if I'm being brutally honest.
That was a stressful game.
Yeah.
The next award we are going to do is player performance of the season. I've got 3 here and I still haven't made up my mind, so I'm going to have to try and think of it whilst we're going through it. But Jack, have you got a player performance that you can give us?
So I've already mentioned it, but I'm going to shout out McAllister at Everton. I'm a bit of a McAllister fanboy, I'll admit.
Because you know ball, Jack. That's why you're a McAllister fanboy, mate.
He's also quite a sort of a cult player. He's called Alex McAllister. He's from Argentina.
Scottish roots.
It's just one of those cool players, which is just sort of and he wears number 10. I love a midfielder with number 10. It looks good on the pitch. But yeah, that game, like you say, 2 goals, sort of ran the show from midfield. He's so good. I think Ryan mentioned it earlier in the season, that he's so good at making space for himself. Once he drops that ball off to someone else, he's straight away looking for somewhere where he can stand where there's nowhere near him. And that game, he just really came to the front. And I mean, like I say, that second goal, the way it just careered in was absolutely amazing. So yeah, for me, it was McAllister away at Everton. I just thought he was fantastic that day.
Nice.
So, yeah.
And then Ryan, we're going to go to you. What about you?
I've gone again. It's a bit of recency bias, but I just think he deserves the plaudits. It's Gross against United. I thought it was the game which cemented Pascal Gross being a Brighton legend, as if it needed much more questioning anyway. He had his doubters throughout the whole season, and for him to come into a game of that magnitude and a game where we obliterated one of the biggest teams in the world 4-0, the goal he scored was fantastic, as we've said before, but I think the way he played he was right up for it. The little Cruyff turns he did, the little back heel as well, which went viral on social media. There were so many things that Gross did in that game which proved his worth. And I think particularly towards the end of the season, people have really taken to him. Probably since he was linked away, people have been like, oh my God, okay, yeah, he actually
don't know what you've got till
player.
it's gone. That type
Exactly.
Of sort of thing.
So yes, I think Gross against Man United, from being recency biased, because honestly, there's so many good performances this year. You could pick out any one of Cucurella's games, a lot of McAllister's games, even a lot of Trossard's games, Mope's games at the beginning of the year. Mate, you could literally pick out so many of our players for individuals.
Maz, moving on to you.
Yeah, so I had 2, and again, one of them was because I was actually there, so it really stuck in my mind. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to go to a lot of games just because of work, but the ones that have been, they've sort of stuck in my brain. So an honourable mention was Basuma versus Spurs in the FA Cup. I thought he was. I know we lost that game, but he was he was.
That was my least favourite day out of that whole
Yeah.
season.
It was obviously we should have got a result in my opinion, but I remember Mope missed a 1-on-1 and I was just like, what are you doing? But anyway, back to the question. Basuma just bossed that day, he was unreal. However, my vote went to, it was in the 2-2 draw against Liverpool for Mwepu. I thought that on the day, I thought Mwepu was fantastic. He was all over the pitch. Obviously, he got his goal, which was a fantastic goal, and he was just instrumental. I thought in getting the result. I know it was a 2-2 draw, but I thought he was brilliant. He was literally, like I said, all over the pitch. Didn't stop running. I think he ended up going off. He got substituted in the end, but he was just fantastic. Like I said, just all over the place, and
I think he went off injured in the end, didn't he?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. And that's what I think it's been biggest shame this season with Mwepu. I think he's got so much potential, and I think he came to the club with quite a lot of expectations because of his background, and he's paid was it 15 million for him or something like that?
Yeah.
I thought without his injuries, I think he could be a really, really important player for us next season. But it's just whether he stays fit. That's
I think it's
the key thing.
Possibly his injuries have come from it being the first season in the Premier League.
Yeah.
It's a lot more physical league than the Austrian Bundesliga, with respect to the Austrian Bundesliga. He will definitely. So yeah, I just. Like what Maz says, I think Mwepu was fantastic at Liverpool, and Arsenal was another one where I thought Mwepu was fantastic.
Mwepu at Arsenal was different level, mate.
Yeah.
And then, it really was.
And then for me, so I went. Yeah, like I said, I went for. I've got 3 written down. For some reason, I put down Sanchez versus Man United. I just remember him making loads of saves. Again, probably a recency thing because I can remember it. Cucurella against Wolves. He ran up and down that wing so much, despite him playing literally centre back or something He runs up and down the wing so much.
So much.
You look emotional, mate.
It is. If he goes, I will be emotional. And then I also had Alexis versus Everton, and I think I will award it to Alexis. Just because he started off the year so well. I know we had a bit of a stinker, but we did as a club in the second half of the season. But yeah, being able to start off the year
He
that
creates
well.
that space so much.
Creates that space so much. He spanks that ball so well. He was class. And Jack, you've already mentioned it, but yeah, he was brilliant all over the pitch. So yeah, I'm gonna award that to him because he's got 2 votes.
There's a big collection of McAllister fanboys there out there for some reason.
But the funny thing is, Jack, there isn't enough, which is what's weird.
There's not enough, no.
Because I actually stand. I'm
enough.
not trolling. I'm not trolling. I actually think that a lot of people don't take enough credit for what he does. I think he does. He goes under the radar. Hence why I did that article. I just think he goes under the radar too much for what he's worth. I think he's too good. He just needs to get more goals and assists, and people will take him more seriously. I think.
Ryan, all I'm saying is he won our Young Player of the Year awards. So you know, you Seagulls Social days. So you know, we know ball, Ryan. Us four.
Yeah, the
on
club.
this
The club
We need more
don't know
fans like us. What are we trying to say?
Yeah.
Like, you know, so,
We know ball.
And there's 2 people, what's it? Tommy Stage and James, they both have match worn shirts of his. They got
Do
this
they?
season.
that's brilliant.
Oh,
So I literally want to find them and kill them and
take it away. And I'll have the other one, mate, please.
Yeah. I'll get them. We'll sort it out. But, he's been amazing this season.
Yeah.
So well done, Alexis. You've walked away with 2 awards this season. So fair play to you, mate.
Maybe I can get elected onto the Alex McAllister fan advisory board.
Whee!
Shots
fired.
But yeah.
So now we're going on to the team award, and this is the last team performance award, and this is the last award. Ryan, we'll start with you. What was the team performance of the season?
Again, we can do recency bias or we can go back. I think if we want to go emotion, it's Man United or it's Wolves, without a doubt, because we just loved that day. Those 2 day outs. There was no doubt in our minds for once watching Brighton play. We were watching football so convincingly. Wolves away was to watch Brighton away from home. I don't think I've ever been to an away game like Wolves where I've been able to be so comfortable, and I stand by that. Apart from obviously your Watford, but I mean going to Wolves, a game which we should be struggling in. You know that Bruno Lage, or however you say his name, was meant to be like the Portuguese Graham Potter. He's got a bigger budget than us. I really thought, you know what, this could be a tough task. We went there and obliterated them 3-0, and they didn't even really have a sniff in the game. So for that reason, performance-wise, Man United or Wolves. But I think if we're talking tactically, I think Arsenal and Tottenham, how Graham Potter came into that game, put 6 midfielders, overloaded midfield against 2 good sides away from home. We absolutely bossed them. And to do that so convincingly against Tottenham and Arsenal, who were pushing for Champions League places.
Yeah, exactly.
They've got Conte and Arteta, great managers. I have a lot of respect for both of them. To be able to go there and absolutely play them off the park and overload their midfields when they've got some of the best midfielders in the league was an absolute joy to watch. So tactically, Tottenham or Arsenal, but emotion-wise, it's got to be Man United or Wolves.
It's so easy to vote for a game that has the most goals in, but like you said, like some of them need to be given to ones that have had the most like tactical masterclasses. And I think you mentioned that well, saying Spurs and Arsenal there, and I'm sure there were ones at the beginning of the season that I've completely forgot about, unfortunately. But my team performance of the season, again, probably on emotion and what it meant, just epitomises, is that the right word? Brighton Hove Albion beating Man United 4-0, seeing my brother looking like a mug with a picture of Ronaldo on Sky Sports or wherever it was on was so funny. Just that whole performance, the whole day, unbelievable. So yeah, for me, it has to be the performance against Man United. Kukurea scoring his first goal as well. The emotion was insane.
Yeah.
Definitely. And then Maz or Jack, who wants to go first?
I'll let Maz go.
To be fair, mine was Man United as well. I think there's a bit of recency bias as well. But yeah, just for all the reasons mentioned, I won't bore people again with all the stuff that's been said. But yeah, just to echo Ben and Ryan's thoughts on those.
Yeah.
Jack?
Yeah, so I've been a football hipster again, and
that's my boy.
pick something different.
Good.
So obviously, like I think the real ones, but I'm going to try pick something different just to make it more interesting.
For sure.
I think you're right about Tottenham and Arsenal, where like we completely just out-tacticked them. Like the way that we played that 6-man midfield and essentially stopped Kane and Lacazette from producing anything.
Lacazette,
really
Lacazette, you could argue doesn't do
lack
anyway,
of threat.
No, he is quite crap. But,
Did you say lack of threat?
Yeah, lack of threat.
That's so good.
Maybe more than
Kane's valid. Kane's valid.
Yeah, maybe more than Lacazette though, because the 6-man midfield, Arsenal's best performing players are arguably Odegaard, Saka, and Smith Rowe, who play that sort of deep in behind midfield role. And the way that we played that formation meant they couldn't really do that. they couldn't really play in that position, and I thought we did really well at neutralising the threat in those games.
Definitely.
And I think another shout out needs to go to both the games against Chelsea. That was another one where we just out-tacticked them. And a close second for my player performance season was Dan Burn at Chelsea away.
Yeah.
Like, he completely left Lukaku
and
lying
Basuma,
on
to
the
be
floor.
fair, Basuma was unreal that day.
And I know we forget about Dan Burn now because he's left, but he was really coming into his own, especially in those 2 games.
Yeah.
And it was those games that we went there and we completely outplayed them. If we never got that equaliser at Chelsea away, that would be one of the biggest travesties in football.
Yeah.
And I think that as well for like scenes of the season when that went in to get our first ever point.
Oh, that should be a scenes of the season, home and away.
Yeah, first ever point at Chelsea was quite amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think of some other stuff like right early in the season. Burnley, I thought we did really well to turn that around. Brentford away, Leicester at home I thought was really good as well. Brentford at home as well, just to beat them 2-0 at our place when we were on quite a bad run.
Convincingly as
So,
well.
but I
Empty
think
Amex though.
Yeah, and I think I know. I think me and about 10 others witnessed that. They were COVID.
Me and my dad literally
half
sat
my
there.
group,
The entire row wasn't there. We were just literally.
half my group I go with had COVID that night.
Yeah.
So it was sort of like I was like the only one there. No queue for a beer though. That was good. No. But
I don't drink.
I think I will award it to Chelsea away. I thought Chelsea away. I had a lot of fun there.
Nice.
Got very drunk just after Christmas. It was great.
Yeah.
And that was first podcast as well that I went on.
Oh yeah, of course it was. Special one for you then.
It's a special one for me.
So team performance, so great mentions there, but team performance obviously goes to Man United. Good shout though, Ryan. Let's quickly just
best
debate
home and away
something.
games then.
I was going to say away limbs. Away limbs, not away games, just away limbs. And obviously, I'm gutted I never went there because I actually had COVID after Christmas. Was it before Christmas? The Chelsea away. I was meant to go to that.
Yeah, I was meant to go. Yeah.
I've got to be honest.
So I missed those limbs, but
I'm
those
putting an
limbs
outside
looked
shot
insane.
in. But if you went to Southampton, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That
the
Hay
atmosphere
Neil
was
Mopé.
great, yeah.
Oh my god, that is the most enjoyable 5-10 minutes of my life. that was like up there. Like, I'm not even joking. I don't know. I did not expect it at Southampton away. It was such a boring game. We deserved nothing. 98th minute and we scored. And the fact that if you went to Southampton, you saw the lot of lads who were trying to give it a big one. The fact that one of them even was pointing at me for like the floppy hair jokes or something. And then when we scored, standing up on that thing, I know it's a 1-0. What a win for Brighton. Okay, fine, Palace fans, whatever. But when we scored, getting up on those seats and then just going like that back to them, which was brilliant. So I think Southampton for underrated, but Palace for just absolute scenes because that was.
That was quite
staircase.
Southampton was funny because it had those signs up on the stadium which said there will be no trains back to Brighton this evening.
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden they're all singing 1-0 and you're walking home.
Yeah,
and all of a sudden it hits the back of the net.
Mate, I came down from the Midlands for that game. It was a 3.5 hour drive to Southampton or something like that. Ridiculous. 4 hours.
Yeah, it was
long, but it was good.
And a 5-hour train journey home for the Brighton fans had to go to back or whatever.
Oh no, don't worry. Once we got back in that Yates, which is with their double pints of Strongbow dark fruits, I didn't give a shit at that. I was drinking that for hours. A lot of people bullied me for drinking mulled wine that night as well. Mulled wine is nice and acceptable. But
Maz, I'm going to give you the vote. You can vote Chelsea away limbs or Southampton away limbs. Or Palace away limbs, actually.
Hey!
Palace was insane. I think these two are speaking so passionately about Southampton.
Yeah, that's the thing. I wasn't at Southampton, so I feel a bit unfair to vote
Mate,
on
created
it.
the best chant of the year as well. That Mopé one. That's
do you know what? I was going to say Palace, but I will go Southampton just because how passionately Jack and Ryan have spoken about it.
I mean it. It was good.
Well, look, I believe you more. I wasn't there, so I believe you two more than myself. So yeah, we'll go with Southampton.
I had very delayed limbs at Southampton as well because I was convinced it was offside as well.
Yeah, same.
Because James Ward-Prowse ran back, so like I had a minute of just my hand on my head and then all of a sudden go mental. So yeah.
But West Ham obviously again just because me and Ben were there.
There's a great picture.
That was great fun.
When that West Ham goal went in, everyone just going mental. Like Ben, even Ben next to me just going mental was quite funny. Southampton. takes that.
There's a great picture of West Ham that I put on my Instagram. Stole it from some photographer. But it looks amazing because it's got like, you can see, I don't know, the way they've done it, they've shown the bottom tier and you can just pick out like 5 or 6 of my mates all in different positions,
many people,
and it just
yeah.
summed up, and so many other people I know, and it just summed up how amazing it was. Like
It was brilliant.
That was special as well.
And it was the same for us as well. Do you remember, Ben? Those lads, like, it was some West, because we were right next to West
we
Ham
were so
fans.
close to next.
And there was like a group of like 5-6 of them just giving it to us like the whole game, because obviously they're 1-0 up for so long, and
doing
just
all
giving
that,
it to us.
Doing all the gay stuff and just
I think they're calling us gay and stuff. Yeah, and then we
yeah.
obviously scored, so it was just brilliant just to give it back. Obviously,
Typical.
it is great when they just give it something.
Yeah. And you know,
The final
another
laugh is the
great
best
win
laugh,
for
mate.
Brighton.
The final.
Yeah,
half is the best.
another great win. Yeah.
Another
Hopefully
great
we get
win.
loads more limbs like that. Those limbs, if we have them next season, we'll be.
Yeah, imagine the limbs when we actually win a game.
Oh, no.
The limbs all
This is
for
the
one.
thing, right? We're going to West Ham. Our favourite away day of the season is either West Ham, Palace, Southampton. We didn't win any of them games. That's
Amazing.
funny.
Mate,
To be
that's
fair,
like-
I think if Tottenham was like an 8 o'clock kickoff or something, and I actually went to it, because Tottenham away in the league I didn't go to, I was so gutted because obviously we won last minute. That would have been so much better if it was a night game. People were a bit
I
drunker.
think people love the fact that it was sunny and like the really hot.
Yeah,
and
see, I'm
everyone
for a
had
night
their tops
person.
off. It was like summer vibes.
Yeah,
Too
I'm
hot.
You know, like,
I'm
yeah.
like David.
I mean, look at my complexion. I struggle with 10 degrees.
Struggling with the laptop fan.
Yeah, struggling with like the laptop. So
I'm going to quickly rattle through the who won what. So player of the season, Cucurella. Young player of the season went to Alexis. Goal of the season went to Mope against West Ham. Save of the season went to the Rafinha free kick. Player performance of the season was Alexis against Everton. And the team performance of the season was against Man United. What a day that was. We are going to take a very short break. It'll be like 2 seconds for you. But see you in the next segment. Maz and Jack might still be here, and that's what we're going to discuss when we're not recording. BRB. Welcome back to part 2. For you, that was literally a second, but for us, it's been 2 days. Which is why I've got the Madrid shirt on. So, hello, Madrid. It was changed in the space of a second for you. Oh, it's mental.
Yeah, life's different. Life's different. I'm a different person. I've changed, actually. Completely different.
Change clothes and change mindset.
Yeah, I changed shirt as well. Got another.
Actually, we've got a makeshift little studio. Actually, that was probably the bad decision with our the mess in the background. But yeah, that we've got a little bit of a makeshift studio going on.
New
here.
location.
To be honest with you, considering it's just 2 bits of lighting and a laptop, I feel quite cool here. To be fair.
Yeah, no studio vibes. Nice, mate. And Jack, you're repping a very Larry shirt. I like it.
Yeah, very Larry. I wore this one to Palace, which I feel like was the wrong colour palette.
Yeah, for sure.
Palace
100%.
away.
Yeah.
Because it was like yesterday I went to the playoff final between Mansfield and Port Vale. And I decided to wear a yellow jumper without realising I'd be in the Port Vale end and Mansfield wear yellow.
Oh.
So I took that off like as soon as I walked to the ground. I was like, and Mansfield fans were shouting yellows at me. I was like, oh, this is a really bad idea. So,
really poor choice.
I
Yeah,
just
my
sat
friend's
in
a
the
Port
front
Vale
row.
fan, so he was absolutely loving that.
Oh yeah, Port Vale fans
Yeah.
weren't that Larry either. Like they've got a bit of a reputation for just being a bit
Have they?
flighty. But they were quite good. They were well behaved.
Well, they did punch a Swindon place, didn't they, when they pitch invaded?
Yeah, that's why I was a bit like, oh shit. But that was my 200th game of the season as well.
Oh, nice, congrats.
So,
Mad.
yeah, there you go. Thank you.
But it's
That's,
okay.
Literally,
Not
in that
on
space
fan
of a second for
advisory
you
board.
listeners and watchers, Jack has achieved his 200th game just in that space of that second,
Yeah.
which shows you what you can do with a second.
Yeah, so that was pretty impressive.
200
for the
games this
to be
season,
200.
and he's still on the not on the fan advisory board. That's mad.
Oh well.
There we are.
Well, only 50 Brighton games, so
Only 50.
Only
yeah.
the 50.
I did what,
Yeah.
20, 27, 28, and you've done 50. You've done literally pretty much double my Brighton games
Yeah.
this season.
Yeah, I done 500, lads, so try and keep up with us. Right? Speaking of Brighton, we are going to finish the end of season special with part 2, and we're going to be doing a keep, loan, sell for every player in the squad. How many players do we end up doing? So 8. So you've got 8
we've got
attackers, 14 midfielders, 11 defenders, and 4 goalkeepers. I should say, obviously, there are some expected outs. I wasn't too precise on this.
The XO.
Actually, let me say, I'll take it back. I was, because I've put Ibasuma is expected out. He might stay, he might not. We'll get onto that. Tuda Baluta is expected to be released, I believe. And then I think, the other ones that I wrote down, I'm not going to say because that would just be. Yeah, well, I was going to leave it out, because I reckon he might be going permanently. But again, we might get into that. And there are a couple other names that we got there, but we will rattle through them nonetheless. So, lads, have you got your list in front of you? And are you ready?
Yes.
To do keep.
Let's go.
Seagulls Social.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Okay. Right then. I will start off first, then we're going to rotate. So, Ryan, you'll go after me. But starting off with the man of the moment, Danny Welbeck. I've got him down as a keep. Ryan?
Keep, yeah. If you say sell or loan to Danny Welbeck, I'm afraid you don't know football, Maz.
There will be someone out there.
I'm afraid you don't know football. No, keep, definitely.
Yeah, I'm also keep as well. I don't think anything. Anybody's doubting that, like the end of the season he had was very, very good. So,
Agreed.
Yeah.
Fair. And Ryan, do you want to go to the next one?
Yeah, so Neil Mopay, again, this is going to be... I'm pretty sure around the board, I've gone keep, as probably expected. Yeah. Ben?
Yeah, keep, 100%. He's dumb to sell him.
This has become a very exciting and controversial
but the energy is so high.
Also going to say keep, but I do think he'll go. As much as I would like to keep him, I think he's off.
I don't know. I should say that we are recording early in the morning, so if the energy is really rampant as compared to part one, that's why.
Yeah,
we are. But we are still.
It's not early in the morning, but it's a Sunday morning, so everyone's a little bit jaded. But it's okay. Yeah. We're all right.
Jaded.
We're okay.
Spot on, mate.
Jack,
take us through this third striker.
Third striker, right? Have we got the exciting one? No, we've got Dennis Undav now. He's obviously going to come.
That's exciting.
Why did we decide he's coming into the first team?
Don't know.
Some people might want to loan him out again. Who knows?
Yeah, that's exactly. That's
never
know.
But no, I think he
maybe Bloom wants to be honest.
Yeah.
And on USG, it's pretty peak what's going on there because obviously they're losing Matoma Undav. I think one of their star players is linked with a move to Anderlecht. So hopefully the wheels aren't falling off of USG, like my mate Brett said that. He said the wheels could be falling off, but hopefully they've got backing from Bloom and
it is bullshit.
Will help them out.
It's bullshit they didn't win the league with their playoff system.
That championship playoff thing.
Like it's complete crap. Like if you get the most points, you win the league. This ain't America, brother.
That's like City doing the whole Premier League season, not getting a title at the end of it, and then having to play playoffs with the top four, and then only winning 2 of the games when you play the other 3 teams
and then
twice.
Just losing to Tottenham or something.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, then Bruges won it, didn't they? I think.
Yeah,
and I think they finished 3rd or something like that, which is a joke.
Definitely.
Anyway, that's how the Belgians want to do it. Fair play to them. So I'll move on to the next striker, Aaron Connolly. Aaron Connolly. And I have got him down as a keep. Now, funny enough, it wasn't because of something we said about Aaron Connolly. We have to redo this. Aaron Connolly from Middlesbrough. I've got him down as a sell, which is obviously shocking. He's had his time at Middlesbrough and it didn't work out. You could say that maybe could be down to the team he was playing in, or, there are many opinions you could say, but I think that would have been a good opportunity for him to kick on and prove his worth, but it hasn't worked out. Hasn't worked out at Brighton, and I think it's time to move on and sell him. Ryan.
Yeah. Sorry, I nearly knocked my laptop over. I'm going with discard, mate. To be honest, he's not even worth selling. If you get the reference, please tell me. But no,
quick sell.
Yeah, it's just sell, isn't it? Reality. I mean, I just don't get what else he's actually going to offer at this club. I just can't see him coming back and putting his head down and working hard on his talent. I mean, he had his chance at Middlesbrough, didn't really take it. Maybe there's conspiracies over the manager, so the rumours suggest. But I don't think his time's going to be at Brighton. Unfortunately, I think we probably should pack in and then probably cut our losses on Aaron Connolly, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I've actually written down loan/sell. Because ideally I'd sell him, but I think he will go out on loan.
Really? You reckon?
I think we're going to struggle to shift him on a permanent deal. The only one that interests me that maybe could get him some form was he was linked with Coventry for a loan or sell move. And that could work out really well for him, especially if he's playing with his old 23s partner, Gyökeres.
Oh, and Cashman as well.
Yeah, Cashman's there as well. And I feel
Cashman's
like... Yeah, and I feel like maybe that might, because his best form was when he was with the under-23s with Guy Koresh, who we stupidly...
Hay fever, lads.
who he stupidly let go for free. But, you know, it's a strange one, Connolly, because I wanted it to work out for him. And I know at the beginning of the season, like, he was getting a lot of stick for even being here. My friend had so much faith in him that he got...
not for anything else, just being here.
Yeah, I know. And some people did give him a lot of stick, and some of it warranted, some of it not warranted. Like, you know, he definitely didn't do himself any favours. And one of my friends had such a faith in him that he got Connolly on the back of his shirt, and has been ridiculed on social media for it. Like, people seeing him in the street and taking a picture and saying, like, why has this man got Connolly on the back of his shirt? But, no, I wanted it to work out for him, but I just think and this is not to say his attitude is terrible compared to others, because, you know, I think footballers are allowed a drink. You know, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
but
they should drink, otherwise they'll die.
Yeah, well, thank you for that, Ben.
Oh God, this podcast.
That's my Michael Owen there.
Right down there. We've said about some of the best podcasts we've ever done. Right, we talk about the Andrea Orlandi, Anthony Knockout interviews, and then we just look at this one and you just think, my God, how can this be the same group of boys?
This is Seagulls Social at its best, mate.
Well, this is my Aaron Connolly monologue. But yeah, so I would just, I'd just move him on. Like, I think his attitude
just
needs to improve.
Be gone.
His performances need to improve. And maybe he's got one more chance left in him. He's clearly a talented player, but for me, his time is done. Let's get moved on.
You only get two chances, I think. I'd say you get two chances.
You only get one shot,
of them, then...
so make it count. You may never get this moment again. Anyone jealous?
No, not for me.
Yeah, I know this song. Anyway, Florian Andone then.
He's had many shots.
Is he even still here? I mean, I haven't seen him.
He was on loan at Cadiz. Now he's back.
He is at Cadiz.
Well, he will be back. He's probably in Ibiza at the moment with everyone else.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing. So yeah, he's not good enough anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, get rid of him.
Yeah, when he was on his last loan, I was really looking forward to him to come back. I think it was maybe, was it Galatasaray? I think it was after then. I was like, he can still do something here, because I remember did he score against Madrid, or he played against Madrid and had a really good game? And I thought, there's still talent there, but clearly not anymore, because it took us a while to kind of ship him off again. I guess I know he had a really big injury. That's a shame. Yeah, he was. And for that reason, I think we've got to get rid of that era, because
we've moved on.
It made us look stupid in terms of that net spend issue. That really haunts me. Whenever there's any praise for Brighton, it goes, well, look at their net spend. Look at their net spend. We need to make our own graphic of net spend since Potter, so it looks a lot better for us. That would look a lot nicer. Because they keep doing net spend for the past 6 seasons, something like that. It's like, no, please just make it a bit shorter than that. Just do 3 seasons.
We need to get to the 5-year point with Potter so that we can save the last 5 years for Brighton, because that's what everyone seems to do. They look at the last 5 years. Yeah. But unfortunately, we did spend big under Houghton on absolute garbage, and unfortunately as well, Florian Andone was part of that. So anyway, Jack.
Yeah, so I just think it's tight. Like, you know, Potter clearly does not rate him. Hence why as soon as he got sent off, it was weeks, let alone days before he shipped off to Gala.
Yeah.
So for me, like, he just needs to be moved on. He obviously has some big issues with attitude and maybe just completely losing his head in every way possible on the pitch. I mean, that foul against Southampton was bordering on assault.
Oh God, yeah, I remember
that. And but he will always be remembered for that Palace goal. So I'll always take that with me. But
he was assaulted by Bernardo, wasn't he, in the build up to the game, which is probably why he then assaulted a Southampton player on the pitch when he.
That was like the first early signs of. Yeah, that was the early signs of Andone just being a complete idiot. Yeah, so just get rid of him.
That was funny. Shout
out.
So
I think we're all in agreement now.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Easy. And then, next one, please, Jackery.
So the next one we've got is Evan Ferguson.
This is a bit more of an interesting one.
Yeah, it
Because
is an interesting
this
one.
could go two ways, probably.
Yeah, so for me, I've gone loan straight away. Like I don't think with Undav, Morpay, and Welbeck potentially in the squad,
And
maybe
potentially
even
another striker
potentially
coming
another striker, he's going to get anywhere near the first team.
No.
I do rate him very highly, but I don't want him to suffer from Aaron Connolly syndrome, where he gets sent. He gets early debut, looks a lot of promise, and then people. And I think maybe I'm putting a case here for Connolly, but he scored 2 goals on his first team debut or his first team starting debut. People thought he was going to be amazing from that. If Ferguson does something similar,
particularly that second goal.
And we need to keep the expectations lower because, if Connolly scored 3 goals in his first season as a 19-year-old. That's pretty good for most players in the Premier League at 19. If Ferguson does something similar, we need to make sure we don't, overhype him. And I think a loan to maybe a League One club or a lower Championship club would be really good for him, just to see what sort of level he can perform at. And maybe even to a European club.
Yeah, I remember Andrea Orlando when he came on, actually, on the subject of that. He was talking about loans for players, young players. And he said that, we're all on this. And he said about how players would be better if they went to clubs that are, sort of performing well. Sending them to, sort of a club scrapping relegation, they're not going to learn anything.
Yeah.
And I think that's sort of the thing I'd say with Evan Ferguson is, yes, probably loan. But if you can't find a suitable loan, keep him just so he can keep that sort of first team experience. Because I think he's probably learned a lot. So I think Potter said particularly that he's learned a lot, being in and around that squad. But yeah, I think Andrea's right. I mean, obviously he knows a lot more about football than I do. But to send him on loan, you'd probably need someone that's going to nurture him properly, almost like a Blackburn, but maybe of the League One. Maybe don't send him to Blackburn yet because they'll be pushing Premier League promotion, but send him to a club that's pushing Championship promotion so he can.
MK
you don't want to send him to bottom
would be
of
a
the
good move for him
Championship.
potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to do this on Football Manager, and obviously that means so much in this day and age. If I would get like multiple loan offers for a player, I would look at where they are or how they're doing, or if it was in the summer, I would look if they're favourites for the league and just send them to the best club possible, just so that they're not going to be scrapping for relegation, like you said, Brian.
And then make them like a regular starter as a one of the lock things. Yeah.
And then you have the same conversation. You're not starting him enough. Don't worry, I will next time. And then 2 weeks later, you're not starting him enough. No, don't worry, I will this time. And then he never does. It's just constant
I think
circle.
MK Dons is a good shout. Someone like
he seems like a good manager. Unfortunately, I don't know his name, but he seems like a young up-and-coming
And
manager.
I think someone at the top end of the league where he'll definitely get minutes. Because, some of the better, well-known strikers in other youth team squads, like Troy Parrott, for example, who was...
he went on loan to...
He went on loan to MK Dons, but his first few loans, he went to like Ipswich and Millwall, I think it was. He got about 15 minutes in total over a year. You don't want him to go somewhere where he's just essentially training with them. Because I know, for example, Tolaj this season, who looked like a promising player, went on loan to Cambridge and I think played about 7 minutes.
If he's just going to train, you might as well train with better players.
And of course,
Brighton.
Foden, who we'd argue is the best young player in the country now, he never went on loan. He was just kept in without the squad. So it'll be interesting to see what he does.
And Pep said, didn't he? Like, that's exactly how Potter says it, wasn't it? About him staying in and around that first team. I get that because naturally, if we're, say, any of us in a podcasting sense are working in and around BT Sports presenters, we're going to pick up a lot more. And even if we're not necessarily presenting the shows, if we're just in and around learning, how they present, then, we're going to naturally get better. So I think it's a bit of like that, picking up the experience will be key. But, if obviously we do find a suitable club, I'll be happy to see him go on loan, just as long as he, gets that game time and works under a club that's ambitious, at least, not just going right downhill, But I'm sure the club will do that.
And last point on Ferguson and kind of on the loans, because I think the next person will probably be a loan as well, I imagine. So we've agreed Evan Ferguson will go out on loan. That'd be really good for him, hopefully to a good club. And then we got Simmer next. And the point I was trying to make is, obviously USG are going to be a completely different team next year. So they got promoted last season, and then they ended up essentially winning the league. But we obviously know what happened after that. Now they're going to be, they've got Champions League playoffs, and then if they drop out of that, then they'll have Europa League playoffs, I believe, as well. to go into that competition. I think, might be wrong. I think that's how it works. So they'll be trying to bolster their squad a lot more again. So they could probably be looking at a player like Simmer or even Ferguson, because if Undav's leaving, they want another star striker. So Simmer, who's got experience in the Champions League, obviously he scored, was it for Red Star against Leicester, was it?
Yeah.
That could be a good, and he's the next player we're talking
Sparta
about.
Prague,
Sparta Prague, sorry, yeah, exactly. They've got a star on their badge, haven't they? A Red Star.
Yes, they do, yeah.
Abdullah Simmer, I think alone, and if it was to USG, that would be really cool for him because he's got experience in Europe, in European football as well. So yeah, I've got Simmer down as a loan. What about you lads?
Yeah, I'll tell
as a
the
loan.
next. I think, yeah, Seamer's probably a loan. Obviously, again, it depends on how he comes back. I expect Potter will probably give him a bit of a pre-season because we haven't really seen him at the club too much. I mean, he went on loan straight away to Stoke. Obviously got injured for a large majority of that. So it would be quite nice to see him have a bit of a pre-season with us just to sort of, see if Potter does like him. But yes, I'd probably expect him to go on another loan. I'd probably tie him in actually with our next one, which is Andy Sakiri, which is our last forward. Two very high potential young players, young strikers that probably won't be in the first team for us next season. I'd like them to go on loan. But again, it just depends on where you send them, because obviously, we can't expect them to go to a club and bang 25 goals next season, because obviously that adds too much weight on these players. So loaning strikers is a tough one because you need to make sure that they're in a club where they're going to get the best possible service and the best possible confidence, because that's
Zakiri's loan this season was a really good move. That was what we usually, well, to be fair, I mean, in the past, obviously, when we run a lot different, loans didn't really work out amazing. But this season, they've worked out really well. There's a lot of players. So Matt Clark worked out really well, his loan, Van Heck, Raider Kadra. And then, Zakiri managed to get a loan to the Bundesliga, which is quality, which is a really good level for him. Yeah. Did he score against Dortmund as well or something like that? Or
He scored a couple of goals. He did well. He scored, but I think the interesting thing with, because obviously, we've gone on Zakiri and Simmer. Like, I think they're quite similar players, like Ryan said. But I think the interesting thing with Zakiri is I don't know whether he is just an out-and-out striker. Like, I think he's more of like a support striker, sort of on the wing. And maybe at the front of a free, which is sort of what he played out in Augsburg. So it'll be interesting to see what happens to him. I'd like him to come
played
back.
left wing back at one point for Potter.
Yeah,
so literally have no idea.
And he did really well at Southampton away.
Yeah, I think I think he'll go to a championship loan to really see if he can make it in English football.
Yeah.
I really rate him. I just really rate his work rate. I think what was one thing that happened at the beginning of last season, which disappointed me with Simmer and Zakiri, was sending them out on loan when we were lacking forward options. At the beginning of the season,
especially hard-working forward options as well. I mean, sorry, but Aaron Connolly probably wasn't that at that time. And I would have rather, us keep Zakiri in and around the squad and probably loan Connolly out at that moment. And even Seamer, I mean, we didn't really get to see him. And he did well in the Europa League, scored against Leicester quite iconically. I agree. I see them as two very similar players. I don't know Seamer too much, but Zakiri definitely a workhorse that, I think a championship loan's probably fair for both of them, to be honest, next season.
He scored against Cardiff, didn't he, in the League Cup in the beginning of the season? I think I actually did. Or maybe it was.
Isn't Zakiri looking at Cardiff?
He was linked with a move there.
The really good finish.
Really
good finish.
That would be good. Yeah, Cardiff would be really good for him. So
great.
No, I was going to say what Ryan was saying. Sorry, my brother walked in halfway through, so that's why I just suddenly had to do the shush like that.
You're just doing a random Neil Mo face.
Yeah, just doing that.
Embedded in you.
But so definitely like he works really hard, and I think that was the disappointing thing when you had Connolly. I'd just rather have kept Zakiri.
Yeah,
Jack, do you want to move on to the midfielders? We've got the first.
Yeah, sure. So that's all the strikers done. So then the first one we've got is Basuma, which is an interesting one. I put him down as keep. Whether that is, I would ideally keep him. I think that's what I should have written down. Ideally keep, because I'd love to keep him, but where his future lies is a bit of a mystery. I still have a feeling he might sign a new deal. Personally.
Yeah, I'd say that there's a 10-15% chance. That there's that small glimmer, and I think if he doesn't find a club, I wouldn't be surprised to see him sign a new deal, just out of sort of merit towards Brighton. Just because we've sort of helped him through a lot and taken him under our wing as a player. It's a tough one, isn't it? Really, with Bissouma.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. There's so many different ways this could go because if you guys put down Keep, for example, maybe then behind that you're thinking, well, that would be so he can sign a new contract. Whereas in my head, I was going, if I select Keep, he will do a year and then leave on a free.
Yeah.
Which is why, in my mindset, I put him down as a sell because I want to cash in on him now and get some decent money out of him. Otherwise, it'd be a shame to let him go on a free. But obviously, it'd be a shame to let him go even being sold. But I'd rather get some money out of him a season before and have time to.
I think for the sake of his career
maybe
himself as well, he'd probably treat this summer as a good chance for him to go. Now he's had a good season, 2 good seasons now in the Premier League. Yeah. He'd probably see himself as a top 4 player, top 4 team player in the Premier League, and rightfully so. So I would say sell as well, just on the basis of one for him. I think he'd probably be saying, look, I need to move on now because I think I've done my service to Brighton. Fair enough, but I'm good enough to play at the next level, which he is. Yes, obviously in an ideal world we want to keep him, but I think based on the transfer rumours already this season, it looks like we are looking at replacements. So by that, I gather that he'd probably go as well.
Yeah.
All right. And then next we have Leandro Trossard. I've got him down as a keep for sure, one of our best players. I'll try and rattle through some of these as well. So I've got Trossard down as a keep. Right?
Yeah, I've got this keep. Interesting that he's got a... Well, I was going to say he's got a year extension that can be triggered. Yeah. Same with Veltman. As Naylor revealed to us all, always the best journalist.
Shout out
ITK.
He said he's got a 1-year extension, so really he's under contract to 24. So that makes the situation with Trossard a lot less worrying.
Nice.
Definitely.
Yeah, I would say keep. Obviously, I love Trossard. I think he's a quality player on his day. By far one of the best attackers we've had, quality wise. Shame he's not more consistent with it. But I think this season he's probably been the most consistent with it he's been in his Brighton career. I'd say keep. I think,
especially
but I think he probably. Yeah, I think he probably will go. If I'm honest, I just have that in my head. I don't know why. I've just got a feeling that he's going to go. I've got a feeling that it's probably about 3 or 4 players that are going to go this summer. Trossard, Cucurella and Bissouma. I just have that in my head. Whether they'll happen or not, I don't know, but that's what's in my head. So yes, I'd say keep for obvious reasons, but I think he probably will go, unfortunately. Ben?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, I've already said. Yeah, I'll put him down as keep as well. Yeah.
Sorry. Sorry.
Interesting.
Okay, move on then.
Interesting you say you think Trossard's going to go, though, because I've got no worry in it whatsoever.
Yeah,
I'm just thinking, I've got a weird thing in my head where I think that if Bowen leaves West Ham, then they'll come in for Trossard, because Harrison seems to be linked with Newcastle, so I thought that their Bowen replacement would be Harrison.
I don't think Bowen will go, though.
Okay.
I think...
Because I heard yesterday that they want the new Hull City youngster that's come through.
Keane Lewis Potter.
Lewis Potter.
Yeah, him, yeah. I know they want him.
Yeah.
Potter.
No, I just think on more of a side note onto that. I don't think there's going to be much movement this transfer window. I think movement has gone down. Same with managers. Like, you have one big deal and that's it, really. You look at how other clubs have sort of changed, and you don't really see like these massive...
We say that, but Erling Haaland's just signed for Man City. Gabriel Jesus is obviously heading off to Arsenal.
Yeah, definitely. But I think Premier League to Premier League moves are a lot rarer now. Like, back in the day when you used to have like Sterling to City and Nasri to City and Oxlade-Chamberlain to Arsenal. You don't really see that anymore. Newcastle
I'd call the probably 6th and downwards. 6th all the way down to about 13th is a lot more open nowadays than it used to be. Teams are better, players are better.
Yeah.
Teams are more athletic than they used to be. There used to be a significant gap, even in the last 5 years. When we first got promoted, we were nowhere near sort of even halfway up that league. We were nowhere near mid-table. Yeah. Whereas, now, we could finish anywhere between sort of 6th all the way down to 17th next season, and neither would be an unreasonable goal to say the least. But Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, moving on to Alexis McAllister, so we don't drag out because we have got a lot to get through here. We can smash through McAllister.
Yeah,
I think
rattle through. Let's do some quick fire. Let's do some quick
fire ones that are going to probably stay. Obviously, McAllister keep. I'd like to see him sign a new deal to be honest this summer. I'm sure you boys probably all agree. Sarmiento.
100% keep.
Sarmiento, this is a tough one.
So we got three here, Ryan. So we've got Sarmiento, Mitoma, and Kadra, all young wingers.
Yeah. And
it's whether who deserves to stay. So let's make a game out of this. So let's say one of them has to stay and two of them have to be loaned out.
Mm-hmm.
Who are you keeping to stay? So Jack, I'll go with you first.
Yeah,
Sarmiento,
cool.
Mitoma, Kadra.
I would keep Mitoma and loan out the other two. So Kadra and Sarmiento go out on loan.
Okay.
For me,
interesting.
I think Sarmiento needs some consistent game time.
Yeah.
Kadra's an interesting one. I'd probably, if it really pushed to it, I'd probably say keep Kadra and Mitoma. But I think maybe he did very well at Blackburn, and he's very not really consistent. I'd like to see him maybe go to the top Championship club, someone who is gunning for promotion. So maybe someone who's just come down like a Norwich or something like that. I think Norwich were actually interested in him last season as well.
With the German links.
Yeah, really. So I think they were interested in him last season, but we said we wouldn't loan to team in the same league.
Okay. You've sold me there, mate. I think I'll be a fan of that. So you reckon Mitoma will cut it in the Prem ahead of Sarmiento?
I think we'll give him a go in the Prem. Whether he not, I still think we will possibly loan out all three and then bring in a new winger, but... Okay. That's my hot take.
I might agree. Actually, you know what? I think I'd like to see Kadra get another loan out, be more consistent. I think maybe loan out Mitoma again. Although it would be really cool to see a new player play for Brighton, of course. But I think Jeremy Sarmiento seems to have it already. So Mitoma for me is a bit more of an unknown. So I'd loan out Mitoma, Kadra, and keep Sarmiento. Ryan, your opinion on those three?
It's a tough one actually, because I think Sarmiento of the three is the highest in quality, individual quality. He's got quality in abundance. He's very direct. He's very good at what he does. Mitoma could be good cover at left wing back if we get rid of Cucurella. So there's a potential. Reda Kadra had a great season, as you say, at Blackburn. Maybe a bit inconsistent. I didn't watch him too much, if I'm honest, but I've heard from Blackburn fans they all seem to love him. But I don't think he will be ending up back at Blackburn next season. He's made that quite clear in his Instagram posts and stuff. So I don't know. Probably keep Mitoma and loan the other two potentially. I wouldn't be angry at keeping Kadra though, just to see a different player with a bit more experience than Sarmiento. I just wanted to see Sarmiento to get more game time, because I don't want him to sit in around our squad. I think he's at a time where he needs to play. Unlike Ferguson, who's at the beginning of his career, Sarmiento's that young winger who needs some game time. So that's why I'd probably say loan.
Yeah. The only thing that would make me think they wouldn't loan Sarmiento is maybe they want to manage his injury a bit better. Because obviously he's had a couple of injuries this season. And maybe just keeping around the first team squad in that sense might be better for him in that way.
Okay.
Agreed.
Then we've got
Agreed on that.
Quick, I'll just do this. We've got 5 players underneath that. And one of them might be... I might be chatting out my arse. One of them might be a potential loan. But that could be, just pure dumbness. So we've got Solly March, keep, everyone, yeah?
Yeah, keep.
Enoch and Wepu, keep, of course. Caicedo,
I'd say it.
I'd say it.
I'd say it.
Shout out. Jakob, what, you actually would sell Solly March?
Yeah, I would. Yeah. Actually, no, I take that back. Because we're probably selling Cucurella, I would keep him. Just on the basis of left wing back cover. But I don't think attacking wise, I think we can do better. But I think defensively, he's probably the best we've got.
I think he's great for the squad because he's so versatile. I think that's why we should keep him. He's one of them players that can do the job for you.
He's always,
actually, I'd take that back. Because Solly's been good end of this season.
Yeah, and he is a really good squad player. In that he can play, and when he does play in the wing, he does a decent shift. And at wing back, even when we were signing Cucurella, people going, oh, maybe Solly March can still play there. So maybe it'll be fine. Obviously, Cucurella ended up being amazing, but people were still 50-50 on that. So I'd definitely keep Solly March. And he's a local lad. I do like that. I like that he is, he's from Hailsham. He's a youth product, and it's good to have those in the team for sort of stuff like that.
And then
Enoch Mwepu's
Jakob Moda was the
keep, isn't
last one. For some reason, I kind of picked him out. Even though I've got Jakob Moda down as a keep, we've done really well without him since. And I'm a massive fan of him, but we've done really well without him since his injury. Obviously, he never managed to get that Premier League goal, unfortunately. I'm not going to say he's alone because I think he's definitely first.
He's too good for
sure.
alone.
But it's just
Yeah.
we've got so much depth now in that position. It's just like game time. There's going to be a lot of game minutes that need to be managed because Moda's out.
But the thing
Moda's
is,
been injured,
Ben,
Casado's come in.
the way
What
that
happens?
the way that Potter's been playing recently, there's room for everyone on that list, apart from probably Beluta and Adam Lallana, maybe on a playing time basis nowadays. But Alzate, Moda, Gross, Caicedo, and Mwepu, there's literally opportunity for all of those. I mean, they can all.
I don't know if there's.
interchange.
I would argue
Alexis
against that. I'd say
McAllister.
Alzate. Where's the game time for him?
Yeah, I
Well,
agree.
injuries,
Should have some more
isn't it?
game time.
And obviously, if we get rid of obviously Basuma, I can just see Alzate sticking around. I think he's too good to get rid of at the minute. Maybe he would in himself.
Well, no, I would
want some
loan
more
him.
game time in that sense.
I would probably
I don't know.
loan him
I just
maybe
think-
to like a newly promoted Premier League team, maybe.
But if we're getting rid of Basuma, I'd probably want him in and around the squad just in case his replacement isn't up to scratch. At least we know Alzate is a very good, capable holding midfielder and sort of up and down midfielder as well. So I'd keep him.
What do you reckon about Alzate?
Yeah, Alzate, that's an interesting one. He isn't getting enough game time, in my opinion, because I do really rate him. There's obviously something, but he's not. Well, firstly, he's not one to complain. He's seems like
a nice
got
lad.
a very good attitude. Yeah, but he's not one to complain. But I would like to see him get more game time, especially if Basuma's off. I really liked him when he came onto the scene. I still really like him now. He played some really good performances about midway through the season, and he played really well. It'll be interesting to see what we do with him. For me, I think he really suffered on the fact that no one really knew his best position. Because he played wing back, he played in midfield, he played sort of defensive role, attacking role, played on the wing. He sort of played everywhere, really. He even played up front against Newcastle when he made his debut.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, he did.
it's an interesting one. I think definitely keep him on the books. I think it's more interesting what will happen with Lallana. He's obviously a quality player, but with his injuries, is he consistent enough to be able to be a useful option?
I think he'll stay. Obviously.
Yeah,
I just think it's more so probably he's going to be the motivator of the camp, which he's sort of taken to in the last half of this season. I think that's
get
how
his
it's probably going to
licenses
work.
and become more of a coach.
Yeah.
Right?
And he's very capable. If there is injuries to, Pascal Gross and Alexis McAllister, he's more than capable of coming into the squad if he stays fit. He's still a great player.
Yeah.
We can't forget that. I just think the majority of his time is unfortunately now hampered by injuries, and he's probably at an age where that's not going to improve, and it's only going to get worse for him. So probably more so coaching roles and all that sort of side of the game is going to be his take.
Yeah.
But Beluta's one that I think will go. I just can't see where he fits into the rest of that squad, to be honest.
I've heard he'll be released.
Yeah.
Okay,
Jack, do you want to start us on the first defender?
Yeah, well, I was just going to say on Beluta, he's another one of the weird Houghton buys and sales, isn't he?
Just
really,
strange.
if you think about it.
Yeah.
£2 million for him, and he didn't really do anything. There was the short period where. Sorry, I've gone on a tangent here, Ben, but I've started, so I'll finish. We had a really weird period where we bought these youth players for big fees, and just sold them on almost instantly. Beluta never moved on, but we had that Ales Matstew, we had Sofian Anac, who bought for a combination of almost $3.5 million. Yeah, Matthias Norman, he was bought for about $1 million. Henrik Bjordal, he was bought for about $500K, and they were just moved on. And I think Tudor Beluta is sort of the last one of those hanging around, really.
Percy Tau was one of those as well, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and he had decent potential, but I think it's time to just move him on, and hopefully he gets a career somewhere, because he seems like quite a nice guy on his Instagram and stuff. He does a lot for charity, so maybe a move back to Romania, maybe get back in the national team. It'd be good for him. So I think it's good for all parties.
So Tarek Lamptey,
Start us off on the defenders. Yeah.
Oh yeah, so Tarek Lamptey. I've heard people say sell. People I know have said sell, but I'm definitely
but they don't have a clue what they're on about, Jack. That's why.
Yeah, he's a fantastic player. He definitely hasn't lost his pace. He just needs a bit more consistency. I think it's a shame that when he finally got his first full 90 minutes, which I can't remember which game it was, I think it might have been Newcastle or something, or maybe Liverpool.
I mean, he's been out in the news, hasn't he, saying that he's feeling sort of better than ever, and he's the best since his injury, because I think that injury really did sort of strike him. I do believe that he did lose that sort of extra yard of pace during that recovery period. Yeah, but I think he's still got it about him without a doubt. I just think he needs to. Maybe it's a confidence thing. We've definitely not seen him go forward as much as he used to. Whether that's maybe the club actually being more cautious and saying you can't, more so than maybe confidence, we don't know that. But I think it would be nice to maybe next season just see him go back to that reverted right wing back role, because I just don't like him playing so high up, because you lose out on what he actually brings to the side when you either play him in a flat back four or high up on the wing.
Yeah, and I think
I've got him down as a keep, of course. I think it would be ridiculous to sell him.
I think with a full pre-season as well, like they've got a whole pre-season ahead of him, Tarek. So it'll be interesting to see whether when he starts the season, whether he's doing full 90s. Because I don't feel this season he's ever come off the recovery period where we've seen him start a game,
and that will put off teams anyway. So that's why that will see him go anyway.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see him go like we. Yeah,
I mean, Tottenham were the biggest interest, weren't they? And now they're looking at like Bastoni and stuff. I know he's a centre half, but he's capable of potentially playing on the right as well. But Cucurella, this is a funny one, because I'll actually start this one off, because obviously yesterday it come out a lot in the news that he was going to agree terms to City. Then obviously Brian Owen hit back saying that there is no official bid or official sort of contact, significant contact. I think the word he used depends on how you define significant. But yes, I think that Cucurella, I think he will go, unfortunately. But I think if there was any last bid to ask him to stay, if he's watching this podcast, it's look what's around you at the moment. You're 23 years old. You've had a fantastic first season in the Premier League. By far the best left back I've seen play for Brighton in my time. I think now you look around, as we just mentioned, Tariq Lamptey. We're going to be looking to improve, bring in potentially some more centre backs in the summer, improving the midfield, improve up front. The whole team that has been overachieving for so long is improving. Cucurella is a massive part of that. Would you want to leave the project now? Maybe. I mean, it is Manchester City, £60 million. If that comes,
it's hard
we
to
can't say no to it. And if he wins the Premier League next season, then well, good luck to him. But I would just love to see him stay for just one more year. That's all I want. I expect him to go, but just one more year would be lovely, please.
At the beginning of the season, when he was playing really well, I thought, if he continues like this, he will probably go. But I'd never envisioned him leaving first season. Yeah, it would be such a shame to see him go.
Yeah.
Just give us one more season, and I guarantee you those teams will still be interested. As long as you obviously have...
It could even be worth double the amount he's worth now. If he has another great season in the Premier League and chips in with a few more assists, then that price goes up again. So maybe on a business perspective, the club could look at that and say, actually, 50 million is great now, but 70, 65 million next season's even better. Do we want to take that gamble? I think with Cucurella, I think you're probably in a safe bet to say yes. But yeah, Jack, what do you think?
Yeah, I actually don't think he's going to go. I think all this paper talk is bollocks. Yeah, 100%. I could have told you this is exactly, because this is what happens with a lot of these players which are linked with a move away from us. It goes through the process of this person says this, we've agreed terms. It's like Ben White and Leeds. There was constantly he's agreed terms, he wants to go. And then all of a sudden, Brian Owen or Naylor will just say, yeah, it's done. Yeah, just sorry to ruin the party, but they've had no contact. I think all that is happening with this Cucurella rumours is, this is going to be famous last words when he moves next week, but it's all it is people putting 2 + 2 = 5. People going, player of the season at Brighton, played really well, everybody likes him.
Spanish, Catalonia, Pep Guardiola.
Yeah, and he's just gone, oh yeah, we'll sign him. But to be honest, I don't know either way. I think he could stay for another season.
I think they're getting rid of Zinchenko though, aren't they? That's what could be.
Yeah, that's the
you know,
worrying thing.
I think I think Zinchenko will go. So then in that situation, it's the next best on the market. Because Man City have the freedom to do whatever they want in this league. If they want Cucurella, they'll get Cucurella, and I think it would be a smart move from them, to be honest. I think it is. Unfortunately, I think it is.
Yeah,
as
much as we say that, though, like,
go on.
Well, I was going to say, as much as we say that, Brighton are very hard negotiators. Like, Leeds acted like they wanted. And Arsenal managed to get 50 million out of Arsenal, which I still think is a little bit much. But it's interesting that there's sort of a lot of people writing it down as City is a done deal. But for me, they've got to pay through the roof if they want to buy him. And will they do that? Because maybe they'll be looking at it with what they have in the squad, and they'll go, do you really want to pay 60 million? Because financial fair play still applies to them somehow. And they haven't spent as much as recent seasons. So it'll be interesting to see whether we do just hard barter them. And because we know they've got all the money in the world. This is the problem with these clubs like Newcastle and City. No club is going to treat them like
three times.
Allow them to be treated like a mug by them, because we're just going to go. We know you have an endless budget, so give us as much money as you want. The same with Newcastle getting 20 million. Having to pay 20 million for Chris Wood. Don't get me wrong. I think Chris Wood's a good goal scorer, but Burnley really put their foot in and just went.
Yeah.
You cannot.
Well, I don't know.
So
we'll see. It's gonna be a tough one.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Joel Veltman stay.
Veltman's
got to be, isn't it?
Stay.
Veltman's got to stay.
Yeah, let's rattle through some of these, and then we'll have the centre back debate. So
Fry alone.
Veltman's can
Lewis
stay.
Dunk
Brilliant.
Stay.
Yeah.
Webster stay. Duffy go.
I think this is the debate. All right, so we got four centre backs.
You take it away.
So we got Van Heck, Matt Clark, Ostergaard, and Roberts. I mean, the first three I mentioned were probably the main debate, but we got Roberts in there anyway. So for me, I've gone Van Heck keep. I think he's ready for the first team, and I really want Matt Clark to stay. I feel like he's that left centre back.
Really?
Get rid of Duffy, like I put down. Yeah, I want Matt Clark to stay. I think he'll be good because I think someone told me he's won 4 Player of the Season awards in his last 4 seasons at every club he's been at, which says a lot. So there's obviously talent there. He's left-footed. It will just make sense if we're getting rid of Duffy. And then I think Ostergaard, I think he'll want first team game time. I don't think we can give it to him, so I've got him down as a sell, and I've got a Roberts.
Hasn't he already I'm pretty sure. I don't know if this was just a rumor or anything, but I'm pretty sure I saw that Ostergaard was offered a deal, and he's essentially said if I don't get game time, then I'll go. I don't know how true that is. Obviously, don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that was the rumor that was floating around, and I don't think we could obviously guarantee him any game time. So I think Ostergaard probably will go, and Roberts, I'd like to see him go.
He's out of contract.
Yeah, I think he'll go, if I'm honest.
He's weirdly out of contract in that he only was on a 1-year deal, but it has got a 1-year extension to be triggered. So the club could just trigger it to get a bit of money, which I think is what they'll probably do. We've done it before where these players are coming to the end of their deals and we just go, right, we'll keep you for a year and see if we can get any money for you. We did it with Walton, and then eventually 6 months in, we got a nominal fee for him because we knew he was going to go for free. With Ostergaard, though, I agree with Ben's pretty much. I've done sell Duffy, keep Van Heck. I've done sell Matt Clark, sell Ostergaard, and loan
I'd say sell
Roberts.
Matt Clark as well. I
think we look at how we play at the moment. We've been playing a weird hybrid of 2 centre backs and 1 centre back. Which has been a bit of a trip. But we need 4 centre backs in the squad. I think that's what we lost when we lost Dan Burn. We had 4 centre backs at that time, and that worked really well. It gives you good rotation. No one's sitting there on a bench forever and ever. So I think that's and then maybe bring up someone from the first team to be the 5th centre back Duffy option.
I think we'll.
That's what I had Matt Clark down.
Yeah, that's a good point. So I would say personally, sell Duffy. Obviously, I think Van Heck. Keep obviously for the first team. Matt Clark, I would sell him, to be honest, because I just think we're going to bring in another centre back. I think we will. I've got it in my head that we're going to sign a new centre half, and we've already been linked with obviously the Chelsea youngster who's on loan at Huddersfield. What's his name? Colwill. I believe that is true as well. It's been quite widely reported that is actually true. Axel Tuanzebe, which I don't think is real, but Axel Tuanzebe, another link at centre back. A lot of various sources are reporting at the minute that Brighton are in the market for a centre half, and I probably expected that. I think I did even say it. So I think that Clark will go on that basis, and Ostergaard will go, and I expect Roberts to go on loan. So for me, of all the bunch, the only one I'd keep at the club for next season is Jan-Paul van Heck.
Interesting.
Okay. Yeah, I think.
I
was going to say, I think it's stupid to have more than 4 because that fifth centre back is going to get such little game time when you're playing the formations that we do. And I think but I do see what you mean with Clark in that he could hang around to sort of fulfil that Duffy role.
Just sign Joe Rodon, mate. He's there for the taking. He's a Potter player. He is Potter's player. Tottenham don't want him because Conte has bigger ideas, which is respectable. He's more than perfect for us. Just go sign him. He's literally Potter's boy. So go get him. He's on the market.
Why I was trying to keep Matt Clark was because, you're saying we've got 4 centre-backs already. So let's say if we keep Van Heck, Dunk, Webster. I say Veltman's half a centre-back, half a full-back cover. Which is why, unless we get more full-back cover behind Lamptey, then we kind of need that extra centre-back. So let's say if Lamptey was out, Veltman plays wing-back, then you need that another centre-back to kind of come in. That was my thinking behind it. I didn't count Veltman as just a centre back.
Yeah, I think maybe what my thinking was when you said replace Duffy, which I did get, was sort of Duffy has hardly been involved for the back end of the season.
Yeah.
Since January, he hasn't even got a sniff, and that's even with the sale of Darren Byrne. So
he just can't play at our level anymore, unfortunately. Yeah. So as much as I love him,
it'll be interesting to see what he gets. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Matt Clark, though, whether he is given the chance or not. He might be.
He captained our team against Crawley in the under-23s a few seasons ago in the pre-season.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
That was his one of one, probably, said games. Or maybe he played against Bristol Rovers, potentially. I might be.
No, he didn't. He's never played a first-team non-friendly game.
Oh,
no,
brilliant.
He's not.
So hopefully, for my sake, I'd like to see him given the chance. Yeah, GKs.
Yeah. Goalkeepers. Robert Sanchez keep.
Robert Sanchez keep. Actually, you go.
I think he'll be linked over the summer. If I'm honest, I think there's going to be rumours, but I think he will stay. I expect probably quite a few rumours, to be honest. Yeah, I think there was a few good clubs in for him that hasn't been widely reported. But I think I've seen
Mark Goldbridge really likes him.
A lot of people do like him. He is heavily tipped, and I'm made to eat my words every single day about Robert Sanchez. I'm so often tagged on Twitter about. But yes, obviously I would keep him 100%. You boys, I'm sure, probably agree as well. Before I move on to Carl Rushworth, so I think should go on loan again. I think just the next level up. I think we should treat him like Ben White. Keep going levels up until he's ready for ours.
Yeah.
Because I think he's got all the potential to be the next number one. Should Sanchez either move on or Rushworth ultimately becomes better, you never know. He does look like a fantastic goalkeeper. Walsall fan seems to absolutely love him. Jason Steele, maybe keep around the club, but I'd probably get rid on the basis of football.
I mean, he's one of them keepers that you keep. One for the English squad thing.
The thing is with Steele, though,
good for the GK Union.
Is I would like to see Sherpen be pushed to be second choice rather than Steele. Maybe push Steele to third choice. They obviously like him in that role as second choice keeper, but I'd really like to see Sherpen step up and maybe be our cup
Sherpen's
keeper.
Done decent, hasn't he? If I'm right in saying on his loans,
he did
I don't know
terrible
how well he's done. Did he?
I
saw a report saying he's done all right.
Yeah, some people seem to think he did quite well, but he had some shockers on his loan, and he came back early. So yeah, he wasn't ideal there. But
I'm going to go find that guy who reported that on Twitter then, because that's not what I read. But clearly he was wrong.
And this might be my football manager brain, but I had Carl Rushworth down to keep or / loan, but simply because I didn't know how good Sherpen was, and I would have liked to see Robert Sanchez pushed a bit more, because again, people have been saying that all season. Sanchez hasn't really been pushed by Sherpen or Steele for his spot, keep him on his toes.
I think we could even.
But obviously, we still don't know the level.
We
don't know what level Carl's at, do we?
But then with
it's another rumour, isn't
he
it?
was sent to the
Go on.
he was sent to the bottom team in the Belgian league, and you know, with all respect, they probably had comedy defenders in front of him.
Yeah, a bit like Caicedo when he was at Berwick.
Yeah, exactly. So he's not.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, second bottom. Beershot were bottom, but you know, I don't think looking into his loan is that important because he was sent to such a low club where he probably had a comedy 11 in front of him.
Which is, it goes back to what Andrea Orlandi said, as we said, it's come up again. You know, you can't send these players to lesser clubs if they can't perform there, because you know there's no point in ruining their confidence. It will not do them any good. But yeah, Sherpa really maybe then another loan.
Yeah, no, I was going to say I really liked Sherpa and what I saw from him from the under-23s. Like he was really consistent. Like he literally used to pluck the ball out of mid-air when it was even like shot at him because he's so big. And he got down pretty well at times. Yeah. And the only time I remember him having a poor game was Arsenal away at the under-23s at the Emirates, where basically every single shot was low. It's a low penalty.
Oh no!
I see.
But that wasn't. And then other games I saw him at Chelsea away for the 23s, and he was really consistent in that game. And one down at training ground against City, he was really consistent. So,
interesting.
And I think it's already been stated that McGill is moving on, so he might become the more under-23 keeper. We've also got James Beadle as well in the under-23s.
Yeah,
who's been called up to
Toby
England
Bull.
International. So it'll be interesting
Bull,
to see
yeah,
where
maybe.
these keepers go.
Maybe one to keep around the
So,
squad, or I would probably say another loan, but we'll see. And actually, that's a rumour I wanted to just say. Potentially, maybe we even look in the market for another goalkeeper, because I'm looking at that list. You know, there is no obvious number two of that four. I think Sanchez is the man of the moment, and of course he'll be the starter. But I would like to see him pushed a bit more, just to keep him on his toes. And obviously, when we had Matty Ryan, it was Sanchez pushing up, but even we had what's his name, Tim Krul. I thought Tim Krul was better than Matty Ryan, to be honest. I always stood by that. I would have liked to see him start for the majority of our Premier League games, but he didn't. So yes, I think
I'd love
actually
to see
that's
us
another
sign.
place.
I'd love to see us sign for a number 2, Ben Foster, just simply for the content. Imagine if we got to a weekly episode where we get to see him filming around the training ground all that time.
It wouldn't be allowed. Like we wouldn't do that as a club. Like we wouldn't do it. He would have to cancel his YouTube channel. Like we would sign him, and they'd say you've got to delete your YouTube channel as part of the contract.
Yeah.
He's been released though, so he's available on a free. I think someone like that would be really good though. I think even Tim Krul. I don't know whether he's, going down. I don't think Tim Krul would come because he left us in the first place to pursue first team football. But I just think we need someone
back.
Yeah.
We need somebody who will push.
That's a top 10 moment for Seagulls Social right there.
Yeah. We need somebody who, if Sanchez is off form, we can just drop another goalkeeper in, because as much as. And Sanchez has been great at the end of the season. When his form did dip, it was sort of like, well, we can't drop him, can we? Because there's no option.
Yeah, there's literally no.
Sorry to totally interrupt you lot. But the club have just tweeted saying he's helped us so much. Cucurella is loving life under Graham Potter, and I've just done a piece on him about Cucurella talking about Graham Potter with like a 3-slide thing of.
Oh, yeah, nice.
They tried to say that he's going to stay for another year.
Yes, definitely. This is what
the club have just done that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the club have just tweeted
literally
that.
I'm
putting some eye emojis on there right now. Yeah.
Yeah,
you are.
I don't think he's going anywhere.
Yeah, I'm with Jack on that.
I think it's.
Yeah, do you know what? I've changed my mind. I've changed my mind after that tweet. That's a very Ben White to Leeds tweet that they've just put on.
Yeah, and he's very happy here, and I think all this City stuff is just bollocks, to be honest.
And to end it, what we're going to say is, if you're a Brighton fan stressing about losing players and you're looking at rumours from the Daily Mirror, stuff like that, don't stress. Just wait until Naylor, or this is what I'm doing. Just wait until Naylor or Brian Owen. It's nice to be linked with players, but it's not nice to have your players constantly linked with other moves. But until it's a Naylor or Brian Owen or someone like that, or the club says it, just don't stress about it, because otherwise you're going to be tearing your eyebrows out, tearing your hair out, and you'll be going grey. So just don't stress.
You'll end
up
like me.
Yeah,
you'll end up like me as well. You can't see my grays on this. But
we'll be going bald by the time we go season 3.
I agree with that, because like genuinely, if you looked on Twitter, you'd think we are losing the majority of our squad. And
Yeah.
don't read into what you see, to be honest, unless it's come from an elite source. And even on the most parts where they say it's an elite source from, I don't know, Spain, half the time they actually have got that wrong, or the figures are a long way off what they've even quoted. So yeah, don't read too much into transfer rumours this summer, because otherwise, as Ben says, you will literally stress yourself out.
Our best transport at fucking hell.
Here we go, Jack.
Our best transfers in the last few years have come out of nowhere. Like Mwepu, no one knew about that until that one account.
Apart from that Jonathan guy, or whatever his name was.
Yeah, Jonathan Rodrigo. Whatever his name was. He just sent it.
He's changed his name now. He's changed his name.
Okay.
He's put another tweet on about us, and he's like just misses, no hits, literally, if you were to meme it. And I just looked at his account, and yesterday he put on saying, Brighton, according to my information, are very interested, and currently the first contender for the signing of Mohamed Kamara from Salzburg. He is seen as the perfect Basuma successor, or talks ongoing. This is the same guy that was the Rodrigo guy. Because I looked through our DMs, and it was the same guy that I DM'd this time last year. July last year, I spoke to him. And he's just changed his name to Don Mitchell. It's just gone under a completely different name. So, that says to me that he's not actually legit, and he's just found it off of Facebook.
Imagine being a Salzburg fan. Like, you support a club that essentially they say it themselves, they're a feeder club.
It's the selling club.
Yeah.
You can't get attached to any of the players. They had Haaland come in, bang goals for him, and then he's off. And Nkunku, I think, was
bang
the same.
goals in it.
Obviously,
Mwepu.
He was the same. Obviously, Mwepu, Mane.
Minamino, wasn't it?
Yeah, that would be tough.
Oh,
Or
yeah,
was it Leipzig?
We don't want to become that. I can't remember Minamino actually. I think he might have been at Salzburg as well.
Was he Salzburg or Leipzig? I can't remember which one he was at.
Who was that?
I think
Minamino.
Pretty sure he was
Hee-chan
Salzburg because
as
they
well.
went to Anfield.
Yeah, he was.
he was.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
And Juan Hee-chan from.
Yeah.
So fair play for the Salzburg.
Wolves.
They do. They do.
We've gone over an hour on this part of the podcast, so if you're still
So this whole episode is going to be like
fair play.
This whole episode is going to be just under 2 hours. Yeah.
Oh,
So hopefully you watch it in bits.
I don't even know if I'm
it's
going to watch
MC
that.
special,
To be honest with you.
My laptop's going to shit itself when it's exporting this video. Fuck me.
Yeah.
The whole F1 will still be. My laptop will be going for a whole F1 race probably. That'll be right.
God, yeah.
Do we have anything else to say before we finish,
Yeah,
Jack?
I was just gonna
I
say,
don't think
you
we
know-
should, because no one's listening anyway, so it's not really much point.
All I was going to say was maybe about like potential signings. I think we still need a couple in, but we're in a good place with loans where we don't actually need that many signings. I'd really like Ings. I'm like a one-man advocate for Ings. If we can get him for a right fee and right wages.
As long as he's not over like 15 million, I'll take Ings. I just, we'll be swapping two injury-prone Dannys in between each other. So when Danny's injured, we'll bring Danny in, and that seems to be, the move that could potentially be the. I don't think we'll sign it. I think there is interest because it has been reported quite a bit. So
that'd be a headache for our physios as well. How's
Danny's injured again.
How's
Which
Danny's
one?
Ankle? I thought he had an ACL injury. Oh no, he's got his ankle wrong. All right, I'll give him this medicine instead, and you give him the wrong medicine. And
It'd be made easier when they're both out for the season, wouldn't it?
I'd like to see if we
Danny
get
and
another
Danny are
right
out for the
back as
season.
well. That's the other thing. Another right back to put if Lamptey's out injured.
Yeah, but we do need fullback cover. We do
like
left
Livramento,
wing back
that
would
would have
scare
been
me
a
if
class
Cucurella does
signing.
go. Yeah, true.
Yeah. But somebody.
But
But
anyway.
then Solly March has played there and he's played well, so
Yeah.
who knows?
If you've
Who
made it
knows?
this far, well done to you, sir or madam.
Thank you for watching, and we wholeheartedly mean it.
Yeah, thank you so much. That's unbelievable.
Thank you
This will
so
really be
much
like a
for
2-hour episode. I think the last one
Yeah,
was like
literally.
45 minutes, so this part 2 has been an hour. An hour.
Yeah, God.
Obviously, subscribe if you haven't already. Smash that; it will be on the screen right there. Like it, of course. Comment. What should we comment? We didn't do a comment last week.
Cucurella's staying.
What should we comment?
Yeah, Cucurella.
Yeah,
Cucurella
Cucurella
staying.
staying. Nice one, Ryan. Straight away. Not wasting time about that. Cucurella staying. Get that down in the comments. All capitals. A bunch of exclamation marks. And obviously, what else do we do? Yeah, write a review on Spotify and Apple if you do that. Hopefully you're listening and still enjoying.
And I'll see you all in Reims.
You'll see him. Oh yeah, Reims. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's the.
Where we're
cheers
getting
for
tear
March League
gassed.
in that.
We're definitely
Yeah.
getting tear gassed in
We're all
Reims.
going on holiday to France. Can't wait.
Yeah.
I am not speaking.
Yes, Ryan, thank you so much for joining us for this 2 hours, even though it's been
course,
spread
mate.
over 2 days. Jack, yourself again, thank you for turning up.
Yeah. Very
And we will
stressful
see
Friday. It was
Yeah,
getting on the
it was.
call.
That was stressful, and now we're so
Yeah.
chilled out.
I'm waiting for my
We'll
double
see you
quickly.
in a couple weeks or so. A couple weeks. Peace.